Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I am Deplorable Knitter. This is the fabulous Ann Pinkova. Hey, and here we are. We're late. We were meant to be here about an hour ago, but life and things. So we're here now.
We are.
And good
We are.
morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good morning, Hail Chat. Thank you, everyone, for showing up, even though we don't give a lot of
I know. I was literally in the parking lot because I had to run a couple errands. I haven't grocery shopped, and so I had to go get some stuff. It had hit the point, there was no more choice. And I got out of the store and I sat in my car and I made the link so I could send it to Anne before I drove home so she knew when we were going live.
put
And
it out
that's
there.
how prepared we are.
Hey, Saturday morning.
But
it's fall. We're rolling. It's great.
it is not fall yet. Thank you very much.
It's fall.
It's not fall here. It was 85 yesterday. It's not fall.
Well, that's lovely. All of our trees are changing.
Nah. Why is
Yeah.
it so? Nah. You get a
I
lot
live
more
in the
winter.
White North. I do.
A lot more winter. So anyway, now that I've gone to the store, I can have coffee and we can talk things. That's really why we couldn't do it earlier. There was no coffee. And who can function on a Saturday morning without it? I'd like to know. It is not me.
Rare. Anyways, we are sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can go to chickenladyfiberarts.com and get 20% off your order using her code QUAIL20 PIK, except it's the last day of August. Oh, Chicken Lady's in the chat. Hello.
Chicken Lady's here.
It's the last day of August. So if you're ordering exactly today, you can still use QUAIL20 PIK. But next month's code is eBluebird 20 PIK.
Like Eastern Bluebird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Chicken Lady.
Hey, Tara.
Hey, Tara. It's a party. It's all our peeps. Yeah. Chicken Lady, I want to know if you got more of that red yarn. I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail that I chose for today's episode, but that yarn is some yarn that I said, hey, Chicken Lady, I need some red, white, and blue. And it's so beautiful and pretty. And I want more red. Thank you very much. We'll talk about it after the show. Because my brain started thinking. I was like, that's how these things are. So.
Anyway. Check out Lynn's
Tweet us on Facebook.
Yes, this is her colorway. Tweet us on Facebook, which you can get through her website, of course, but also by commenting below once the video is finished. Be entered for the giveaway. Lynn has a couple. I saw. She's been doing the state park hat kits, and she has a couple of the arches kits left. This so pretty, and it's orange. You know, I love an orange.
We know you love an orange.
You know, I love an orange. But anyways, get all sorts of cool things on our website. Her bird colorways are so awesome. She's been doing state birds, which is why the code is eBluebird20 PIK. And check her out. She has good yarn. Sign up for a newsletter.
And she's cool. I got to hang out with her on Thursday. We did my monthly Patreon Zoom, and she was there, and Tara was there, and a couple of other people, and it was a fabulous time. Nice. It was a lot of fun, just so you know. Once in a blue moon, Anne shows up, but she was busy this week.
I was.
That's part of why we're a little bit discombobulated, because it's been a long, long week. But that's okay. So, it's fine. So, I'll talk about that yarn real quick. I'm going to go first. Do you mind?
Please do.
So, the reason I messaged Lynn is because I didn't have the right yarn for my pattern. I did not. But this is my new pattern. It says MAGA 24, Trump 24, and then it says fight, fight, fight all the way around it, as one does. But the problem is that the gauge isn't quite right with this yarn I had. This is a DK. I really needed a sport, because you know I don't write patterns in fingering. Not yet. I think the sports came pretty close, though. But it's a nice hat. It's got nice width, but it's just the way it's written, and with this yarn, and I have a big head, so it's just not quite right. We needed the sport weight yarn. So Lynn,
just a little.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, I got a big head. I know that. My hats are bigger than my husband's. That's life. But Like my hair really matters, whatever. But yeah, this is my new pattern. I've been talking about it. It just life has been lifing, and so it's not quite done yet, but it's almost done, and it'll be coming soon, friends. Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
And I got a couple others I'm working on too. So once I get more red, white, and blue yarn, I can do more things with red, white, and blue, which will, it's kind of the political thing. So
I know. That is so much of the yarn that I have. It's like, ooh, this is just fun colors. And believe me, I love me some fun colors. But also it's like, well, if I'm making a specific thing, it needs to
if
be normal, pretty plain.
yeah, if you're making something that I'm thinking of, like Take America Back, Make America Healthy Again, all of those things, they really need to have a certain color scheme, whether or not I want to. Um, so that's happening. And then this doesn't really have a lot to do with you guys, but still. I went to our secondhand craft store because I'm teaching knitting and co-op starts in a week. And am I prepared? No, the answer is always no. I am not prepared. But look at all these size 8 knitting needles I got for my students to learn with. They're all perfectly lovely and nice. They just don't have a package, and I got them for $1 each.
Oh, excellent.
Right? So that's for my students. And then I also got some like mystery skeins of yarn. They're not like the bestest because it's a secondhand store, but I mean this one's Knit Picks. It was $1.50.
Nice.
So all in all, I got some colors for the students. I got some knitting needles. So some fun stuff.
No, that's excellent.
Yeah, I think in the past I've tried to buy needles at the store, but like when I was teaching the kids how to do circular knitting, it was harder to find the right size, the right cord length, but I mean we're starting off with a slip knot. So I mean, doesn't everybody start with metal needles and a slip knot? I think that's pretty much how it goes, no matter who you are. So yeah, and then the cast on, and then the Lisa said secondhand craft stores are a thing. Yes, here we have one, and it's fabulous.
Yeah, I remember that when I first started knitting, it was metal needles. They were size 5 because I would only remember that if I had kept them later, which I did. And that it was the Simply Soft yarn, and it was so splitty. So I was like learning to knit, and it's a garble, and there's knots, and your stitches are the wrong way, and it's all sorts of things. And it was like picking up half stitches through the yarn. And
yeah, my kids were at the store with me, and so I'm trying to look, and one of them was like, "That color's nice, this color's nice," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that one's too fuzzy. This one's not the right kind of yarn to learn with," because I try to make it easy for the students, right? Like it's a new skill, it's awkward anyway, and then I try to make sure that the the yarn doesn't have like a halo on it because that can be confusing at first. You can get the little bits and not get a whole stitch, and not the splitty kind, and yeah. But I also got DMC embroidery floss, right? I got like a dozen of those. They were 15 cents each because I got a couple projects I'm working on for some neighbors. They're going to say, "Don't be a dick," because that's now our neighborhood motto. So someday I'll tell you guys the story. But
I've been thinking like Christmassy thoughts. Okay,
really?
It's cold already.
Okay, it's cold here. Yes, I remember.
Anyways, but Emily of Woldenburn last year, she had these little crochet stars, and she did them out of red and white marled yarn, and they were so pretty. And she did say what pattern it was. So I mean, it's a free pattern. I have it up. I haven't tried it yet. I'm not really a crocheter, so like reading a pattern in crochet that isn't like I do granny stripe, that's very simple.
Yeah, but send it to me. I'll help you with it. We'll do the same thing we did before.
Yes. Hold my hand.
I'm happy to.
But yeah, it was really pretty, and I'm like, oh, that'd be nice to do. Think ahead.
Very cool. Yep. So what else was I going to tell you? I don't know. You're talking about Christmas. Co-op starts in a week. We started school this week. Give me like 3 weeks to even out, and then maybe I'll start thinking about Christmas. But like right now, I'm like, oh shit, I haven't read the book for book club. Book club starts in a week.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should do that as I'm the teacher. I'm more of a facilitator, but you know what I mean. I'm the person in charge. I should probably have read the book at some point. Probably,
Right.
maybe.
Oh, and sorry.
Mhm.
Speaking of Emily and seeing Holly of Mystery Mouse in the chat, they are still doing their, I have to remember exactly how to say the name, but their fancy needle crafts and book club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they are now reading All Creatures Great and Small.
Cool. And speaking of those ladies, also made me think of the fact that the Olympic person, who I still don't have their name, but Anne had it written down, has not contacted me about getting a prize. And I would like to send you a prize, but I don't have one. I don't have an address to send it to.
Right.
Fancy Reading Needlecraft Club.
There you go.
There you go.
But Stibers Fibers is the winner.
Fibers. So yeah, email deplorableknitter@yahoo.com. Deplorableknitter@yahoo.com to tell me where to send the package that's actually already packaged up, and for me that's a big deal. So Hey Mephisto, what's up, man?
Hey,
hope you're well. All right, Anne, so what about you?
Right. Well,
did you work on things while you were busy?
I did work on things. I have a hat going, which probably won't be much. My stuff is boring because at this point in a sweater, it's just going to look like more sweater. I am at the point to divide for sleeves, so it will look different next you see it, hopefully.
I don't know if everybody else is having the trouble, but you're all pixelated and moving slow, so I can't actually see your sweater. It's just orange, unfortunately.
Well, it's a pretty orange sweater. But
so,
anyways, it's still pixelated, probably. You've seen it before, guys. It's a big old cable sweater.
I'm sorry, I just want to interrupt for a second. Mephisto says he's doing well, so that's excellent. We talk about you kind of often, so want you to know we think about you, pray for you. So, and Lisa is also going to get in trouble because she's just discovered that there are secondhand craft stores. And at mine, all the things you can get, they're amazing. So you're in trouble for sure. I'm sorry, Anne. So your sweater's going well. That's very pretty.
Sweater's going well. Hat's going well, but I'm just going to have to throw it all away. Not actually throwing it away. I'm finishing both these projects because we have a new knit-along that we're announcing. Yeah. And we don't want to do it too late in the show.
Yeah. I don't know if she's frozen. It looks like it. So I will tell you guys that we're doing a knit-along for Let Them Live this month. We are working with Amy from Two Sisters and Some Yarn, otherwise known as Pro Life Knitter, to get donations for Let Them Live. You can make items and we'll have an address for you to send them to. You can make monetary donations. Any way that you support Let Them Live, we will work. It will count as an entry. So like our buddies in the chat that hang out with us but aren't knitters, you can totally participate this time if it works out for you. You can give a little something to Let Them Live and be entered to win a prize. Perhaps if a non-knitter wins a prize, we'll send you something finished, because what are you going to do with some yarn? But we'll talk about it.
We'll make it work. But yeah, Let Them Live, if you don't know, is an organization that supports mothers who are thinking about abortion, supports them to not choose abortion, either monetarily or with counseling in other situations. And what Amy does, Amy collects donations to send handmade items out to these mothers too. So even, I mean, of course, we're knitters, we do knitted things or crocheted things, but even if you have like sewed projects or other things you wish to donate, you'd be able to do that.
Yeah. You can and she's not picky about like the medium. You can use acrylic yarn if you use something that is like a hand wash, as long as you label it so that people know what they're getting. Don't send 100% wool thing and don't tell anybody so that if the mom washes it, it turns into like a baby hat, like, like a doll hat, you know. Um, yeah. And so if you like sew blankets, she takes everything, hats, sweaters. She likes hats in larger sizes in case there's more children in the family. So like there's a lot of opportunity to send stuff to let them live.
Right.
So, hey, you're back. I can like actually see you now.
Oh,
What's
good.
up?
So good to see you. But yes, anyways, so for the month of September, we are going to do the Let Them Live kind of charity drive thing. Hashtag is going to be PIKLTL24.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you can go ahead and share that on the social media, and we'll have said we're going to do prizes, and we might even do a special episode at the end of the month, which I'm pretty excited for, but we need to iron out the final details.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that are going to go into that special, so
and by
stay
pieces
tuned.
I mean lots of people. It's like we're
People.
herding sheep, or not
And
even herding sheep, herding cats, and we're the worst cats.
right, we are, and it's going to need a chunk of time, so look forward to it. But here's the hashtag. Look, I was so tricky, I even put it up on the screen. What? What else was I was just going to tell you guys something else. Oh, and Neil and I are doing a little something for our patrons together. So if you guys are a patron of Black Magazine or myself, this is not in part with the Let Them Live thing, but it is to help encourage people who want to participate in the next Co-Crafting Democracy exhibit. If you guys are interested, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be hopefully sharing some resources, working together. So, hey, a lot of stuff is going on in September. Let Them Live, make along. We want you guys to craft something that shows that the left is not winning. Fight, 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 friends. I can't do it. The camera's backwards. So long. Oh my gosh. Can I just tell you, it's already been a morning. There we go. Look, fight, fight, fight. Get your stuff together. Support. Show the crafters that that they're not the only ones. I'm just saying. Okay. So I don't know where Neil is. He might have a life. I mean, it's like dinner time in England. He might be like doing something with real people. It's hard to say. So, Adam's asking where he was. So Let Them Live, make along, make stuff. If you want more info, I'm sure Amy will be on Knitting Wars. Can I not remember the name of her own show? No, it is not yet up on Galilee Life because there's a gauge issue, and I don't want to release the pattern to my friends until I have figured out why it's weird. And Lynn earlier said I looked like Fat Albert wearing it, which is not really the look I was going for. So we're gonna work it out a little bit, because the hat went over his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Hey, BS.
Hey, BS. Sorry I was pain in the ass. Appreciate all your help. I decided there was an issue with my article about 2 days ago when it was already all real pretty. So sorry. I didn't prove, like, I wrote my article and then I didn't like go through and read it again because it was the crack of dawn. And I had the word display 4 times in one paragraph. I'm sorry, but I cannot allow that to be. It was just terrible. So sorry. Hey.
Oh,
I
do that
again.
Where I'm like, I write a small paragraph in text and I just hit send and then I read it back once it's out and like, that was really redundant. Oh no.
Oh, thanks, BS. I appreciate it. She forgives me. It's fine.
Okay. It's always good to be by your editor.
Next time I write one, I will read it through before I send it off. On the Patreon, Neil puts the magazine out like a copy that's not ready yet, and they're blank pages because he was waiting for me, and he let me submit quite late, and so I wrote it real fast and got it out real fast, and then it took a while for me to reread it, and I was like, oops, not bad. I was trying to be real efficient. I was not. We'll work it out. So anyway,
Yeah.
what hat are you making? Sorry.
It's gonna be another one of the Intarsia hats. I don't know if you remember the one razor fist hat I made for Royce of A Drink with Crazy. Anyways, I wasn't happy with it.
Okay.
Like yeah, you could see the words, but the words, they were like wrapped around too far, and the gauge was a little loose, and it had a fold up. Yeah. Yeah, it had a fold
I
up
get it.
brim, but the way that the fold up brim was would probably cover the letters, and it was enough for me to be like, this is great. I'm handing it off. It's done now.
Right.
I'm not messing with it. But I just wanted to another version where, you know, it was nice.
It's a little neater.
Even if it's
when
not
I
for a thing, it's just like I want a nice version.
yeah.
And this is like DK on size 3 needles, so it's extra tight, and you know, it'll lay nicely. And anyways, sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. When I did my DD-214 hat for my stepdad, DD-214 is the discharge papers you get when you leave service. And it was nice, it worked out, but like it was too big. I redid it so that it was like very small, and it was very cool looking. So Cantra says her stickers arrived.
Yay!
Awesome. And I
Yay!
saw on Instagram some people got their boxes. Like, what?
I know they got their boxes like instantly, which is amazing.
I know, it was funny, but that's cool.
They were shipped out Monday.
And the loser box was really fabulous, and we decided that it was worth losing because, I mean, the prizes were pretty good.
Hey,
if you got to lose, at least you can get a prize, maybe.
We treat you right, and the important thing, it's like everybody gets stickers. Everybody who participates wins. You just got to play along and follow the rules. That's
I'm with it. Very good. So, I don't know. Do we have like other stuff to talk about? Do we have to talk about it?
We are in
I know.
the news show. We have big news of the day with Brazil. People who live in Brazil are no longer allowed to use Twitter. And if they use it through a VPN, they'll be fined over $8,000, which Brazil-wise is a lot as far as median income goes. And that's per day.
Wow. That's insane. Well, did we touch on it here, or was it on my Zoom? About Australia and the social credit score and not being able to use social media if your credit score isn't good and stuff? Like, what's up with that? Like, all of these things that people are like, sorry, my brain is like not catching up to my words, but like, these are things that they did, I don't know, maybe back in the 30s. Like, did we not learn anything? Did we not learn anything? Apparently not. Psychopathic Lex Luthor down in South America. Is that the Brazilian guy?
Yeah, and he has like this he's bald and he has this long black cape, and it's really bizarro. It's kind of like with Klaus Schwab, when you're like, surely the Bond villain with the sinister Teutonic accent and the bizarro, like, puffed front, you know, space police outfit. Surely this isn't the man who wants to prevent our free movement and seize all of our property. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
That would be
I mean, I guess, though, we say all the time that they're telling us who they are. When you dress like the villain, odds are you're probably the villain. I don't know. I guess I have to laugh about it because otherwise I might cry. It's terrible. Like, but just seeing the stuff happening in these countries, like, okay, you see it happening in China and you're like, wow, China sucks. Like, everybody knows that China sucks and treats their people really terribly and stuff. And then we have Australia being like, hey, this is a great idea. We're totally going to go do what they're going to do. Like, are they going to have camps too? Like,
well, they had COVID camps, weirdly enough.
Right? Right. Okay. So I guess it's not as crazy, but still, it's ridiculous, man. I'm sad. Okay. So what else we got?
I think we may have mentioned the Australia thing a little bit on Tuesday when we were talking with Polka Dot.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. We did go into quite a lot of things with Polka Dot. A lot of parenting stuff.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch the episode. We had a good time.
We did. And there was a bit of ranting.
Quite a bit of ranting. But anyways, as I always say to DK, the thing about going live is that you never ever know, not once, how the show's going to go. Ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fast, slow. Are we going to talk about normal things? Is it going to be pure
politics? We can like talk knitting and stuff. It's going to be fabulous. And nope. It was all politics all the time on Tuesday, which was fun. We enjoyed it. I also enjoy the ones where we don't do that. I mean, variety.
But anyways, other things in the news is we have the Kamala Harris Tim Walz interview where yes.
Do you know that it was originally like 41 minutes long and they cut it in about half?
Yeah.
Like what? And they won't release the transcripts because what the fuck did she say that they can't put it out? How, like, if CNN, was it CNN?
I believe
Dana Bash, I don't remember what channel she's on. I know it was her. I think it's CNN. But if it's so bad that CNN won't put it out because they know that even their sheeple will figure out that it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah. Imagine bringing a buddy along for your interview when you want to be the president, and still it's so bad that they have to run cover for you.
Well, and she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. She doesn't need anybody, but she's got her emotional support walls with her. Mm-hmm. What? Fuck it all. Excuse me. I do not like her. I do not like what's happening. I have a friend. I'm going to write an article about this too. I don't know where it's going to land yet, but I have a friend. Been friends with her since I was 10. So that's 30, almost 32 years now, known this girl. We were driving. We were going to get some ice cream. We had a great time. We went shopping together the other day. We were just having a little girls' day. And she says to me, oh, I forgot you like Trump, don't you? And I said, yeah. I said, why? Are you voting for Kamala? She goes, of course. And I said, why? She goes, because she's not Trump. And I said, all right, I've heard that before. I said, I would like you to tell me one thing that she has done, one piece of her policy that makes you want to vote for her, that makes you think that she is going to do something good for our country. You know what she said? Nothing. She has no idea. And I said, so I said, look, think about it. Get back to me. I would love to know why. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Oh, sorry.
Didn't even make the trains on time.
Boggles my mind. I don't know what to do, man. So we're gonna. I don't know. She wants to build the wall now, though. Is that what's that about? Because she's never had an original thought, or is that what?
I don't know. She's like, I'm gonna build the wall now, and then she's like, no, and then she's sort of like making as if she's like, no, fracking's cool now. No, all these other Trump policies that she's now copying. And then she says, but my values haven't changed. My Green New Deal values never changed, because she's getting in trouble from both sides. Nobody likes her.
Nobody likes. She's never gotten a vote.
That are like, what are you doing? And it's the conservatives who are like, she's awful. Like, so bad.
Mm-hmm. What mug are you drinking out of today, Anne?
The one you gave me.
I just was curious because Chicken Lady said she liked it. I didn't notice which one it was. Yeah, we're bringing back the wall now. I wonder how people on the other side would feel about a hat that says "Build the Wall." I mean, just saying. It wasn't acceptable when it was Trump, but what if it wasn't Trump?
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Sorry, I'm gonna rant today. You try to keep us on track, and I'll try to keep my rants to a minimum.
Well, sorry, reading the chat.
Yeah.
Well, other things. Okay, this is something which is stupid, and we talked about it a little bit on Tuesday. Talked about other thing, but people who are going nuts because Trump isn't pro-life enough, and it's really, and I know that it's a smaller segment of people, but it's like no, Trump isn't doing this, Trump isn't doing that. Trump is against having a federal ban or a federal permission for abortion, okay, which means that it can go down to the states, because that's how the Constitution works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, saying that you want a countrywide ban on abortion, is abortion evil? Yes, that's what I believe. But having it a state by state issue means that it is more codified and more difficult to remove. So it's like, so you have to, on a state level, put it through the right way to have the different state bans on abortion, which many states already do have. And having this sort of executive order back and forth between yes, it's okay, no, it isn't okay, means that it can just fall apart like all the other executive order things.
Right. So, okay. I'm a conservative. I am pro-life. I do not believe that people should get abortions. Those are my thoughts, right? We live in a world with a lot of different people. And getting everybody to agree to what I believe is probably never going to happen, for one, right? So he's done a lot for abortion. If you don't like it, you can work in your state to see what you can do to regulate it more or whatever. You can go to a state that has stricter laws about it. Um, but when it push comes to shove, look at the people. So we have Trump, who, okay, you don't like his abortion. I get it, right? But also, then we have Kamala, who is wanting to tax unrealized gains, which means that if I own stock and I buy the stock at $1 and then it goes up to $100, I'm going to have to pay on the $99 I could have made. I'm going to pay tax on that. And then if I don't sell, I still have to pay the tax on it. But then if I lose money, I pay tax on the money I could have made and I've lost money. And like, it's just bullshit, right? We've got her who wants to do communist price controls, like in the grocery markets. We're going to have bread lines. Like, I understand that it's a big issue. Abortion is a very hot button issue. I understand that. But we have to look at the big picture. Do we want to have breadlines? Do we want to be taxed on money we maybe could have made? Is that going to make people work or invest or try hard? No. And the people who do those things are going to go to a place where they're not taxing them on that, or they're not going. It's going to ruin everything. That's her deal. She wants to ruin everything, and she's proud of it. She said that she was the last person in the room after the Afghan decision was made that killed 13 soldiers. She was the vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. Like, she's showing you who she is. She might not be talking policy, she might not be giving interviews, but if you pay attention, she has showed you over and over what she is and who she is. And sorry if you don't like abortion. Trump has said he's done what he's going to do. We need to stop worrying about that and worrying about other shit like, oh my God, they're going to take our kids away if the kid decides it's trans and we don't agree with it.
Right.
Like,
and
there's bigger issues. I'm sorry.
Right. And it's not as if abortion isn't a very important issue, but also it's okay, how's the abortion ban going to be implemented? Do you want someone over there? Do you want the feds to say no? Or do you want top down or bottom up? Do you want the people in your state having to pass legislation and vote legislation on state senators? Do you want to actually have to do the work, or do you want to say, no, we should put pressure on Trump so Trump can fix it by passing a nationwide abortion ban? Is that your plan? Because
I don't
yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. Hello. Um It's like, how is our country structured? And also, how do we want our country to be structured? How do you want the legal precedent of your country to work? Because, again, the legal precedent, you don't want these wide sweeping yes or no bans on things. You want legislation. You want legislation that is difficult to remove. You don't want like weird court case things. You want codified laws. We are a nation of laws. Look, freedom comes from simple laws applied equally to all people. And that's why our country was built this way. That's why our country was structured this way. Okay. You can't just like, I don't know. You can't rule by decree this way. And to get all angry at Trump and people being like, oh, DeSantis would have been better, or oh, this or oh, that. It's like, no. And also to get all stuck on this of like, oh, who else are we going to vote for our conscience? Oh, you think that you think Kamala getting in? You think, or anything else? Like, oh, we get a third party person that's really going to help abortion. That's really, I don't know.
So there's a lot of questions in the chat about like, okay, so we can't be a godly country with abortion. I get that. But unfortunately, our country is not a nation under God anymore. A lot of people are filling these holes with, killing their babies and transing their kids and a lot of other bizarre shit that is demonic. But I guess it's the whole like Rome wasn't built in a day. We're making strides. There are other pressing issues. Yes, I think that things should be done for abortion, but I also don't believe that we live in a country anymore where we can just say, well, abstinence is the answer, because most people don't believe that. They're not going to do it. They don't follow the Bible. And so for now, we have to work with what we have. If that's making birth control easier to obtain, if that makes condoms, whatever it may be, right? Because like, let's stop having all the extra babies and using abortion as a form of birth control. Like, that's number one, I think. Like, it's not a form of birth control. It should never have been used that way. And people are going to do what people are going to do. So how can we take part of that out of the equation? How can we do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and a lot of it, Holly says, needs to change the culture around abortion. It's a cultural perception too, of it's like, do you want abortion to be illegal or unthinkable?
Right.
That sort of perception. Right. But also, okay, again, with these laws, you're like, some people just aren't going to do it. It's like we are still doing policy, and we are still proposing policy for a nation of all of us. And that includes the guy you disagree with. Okay, and if you want, it's like, okay, gotta make deals here. And by it's like making deals, do you mean just like totally throw out all of our principles? I'm saying look at incrementalism. Build towards what you want. Don't say it's all or nothing. Because it's like, oh, well, it's all or nothing, Trump. If you don't do exactly what I say, I walk away from the table. You physically can't walk away from the table. You cannot. You can't. If you walk away from the table, you lose to the other guy. It's you losing, not them. All right?
Right.
The lefties want you to walk away from the table. They want Kamala. They want you to give up. Their walking away from the table is already that Trump is an intolerable option. So like you're just swinging around on the other end of the political horseshoe saying, well, Trump is an intolerable option. And aren't I glad to knock Trump, because that's what everybody else does.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, the abortion debate isn't going to be won the way we're doing it right now. And we need to make it unthinkable. We need to make it so that people, okay, you want to have one? Then do you know what they do to the baby? Do you want to see, like, great, in theory, it's a clump of cells, but this is what it looks like as it's pulled out of the mother and ripped limb from limb.
Right.
That's a way to fix it, because people are uneducated. It's the whole low information thing.
Right. And we have done.
Sorry.
No, exactly. The pro-life side have done great strides, and we do have many abortion bans and restrictions and other things. So it's like, again, to have come to have overthrown Roe versus Wade, to come this far, and to be like, no, no, wait, right here is where I say no, not enough. I'm sorry, you've done too much of what I like already, and to at this point, try to make deals with people from other side of the aisles. That's too much for me, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. And I know that I have actually become, I'm still super conservative, but I've kind of gotten to the point in my life where people are going to make terrible decisions, and I can't spend my whole life worrying about their terrible decisions. I'm never going to have an abortion. I'm never going to encourage my kids or their partners to have an abortion. I'm never going to condone it, but this is the world we live in. And so I'm going to work against it, but also I know where I stand. I know my convictions, and it's not the only issue on the ballot. And if that's how if we get stuck on one, I keep saying it, right? Love my husband, been married to him a long time. Want to keep being married to him. I think he's fabulous. Sometimes he opens his mouth and I wish I could throat punch him. Like, I love the man to my depths of my soul. I do not agree with everything he says. There are some things that I homeschool the kids, right? Sometimes he'll be like, I think the kids should do X, Y, and Z. And I'll be like, I will take that under advisement. That means no. I am not doing that. But sometimes that's just part of life. And this this one issue isn't exactly how I want it, so we're going to just ignore the rest of it. No, we are going to be a third world country if Kamala wins. We may never have another election. They've already shown us that they don't give a fuck about elections because they put her in without a primary. So if you think that abortion is the only issue that we have to worry about this time, we're fucked, because it's not. It's the country. We can work stuff out, but we have to put people in place that are going to work with us. Sorry.
No, I agree with you totally.
I guess I'm getting sick of it. I'm trying to be nice to people. I'm trying to listen, but when push comes to shove, because Kamala's a woman or she's not Trump, it's not a freaking answer. And I'm tired of these people who have not a freaking brain cell in their head to rub together who get to vote. I like the color of pants she has on today, so I'm going to vote for her. That's the most asinine thing ever, and that's more or less what these people are saying. So anyway, sorry, Em. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
It's old, and it's not that abortion is not important. It's not that I think that it should ever be allowed. But also, if you look back in history, people were doing it when it was illegal. So just putting a ban on it is never going to be the answer. We have to work together. Kendra says it's not going to get better because we told God to get lost. You know what? There are so many people that I have seen that were atheists, that didn't believe, that are coming back around. I think people are starting to understand. And part of that is leading by example. My friend that I was talking about who said she was voting for Kamala, I was talking to her. We were having a conversation, and she goes, I'm surprised that you're like being so nice about this. Because I think that people are just used to arguing about it. And I think that that's part of our problem. We need to come to people because they are people and they are broken, and we need to see how we can help. And we may not be able to help, but we need to try to show them. I have a neighbor that's mad at me. It was a misunderstanding. I baked bread. I wrote her a card. I tried to be kind to her. She said, I don't want your bread. Go away. And I said to my daughter, I said, God says 70 times, 7 times we have to forgive people. We have to continue to try. We have to continue, because that is, but we also can't be doormats. And I think that that's part of what's happened to Christians. Oh, well, nobody cares what I say. Nobody agrees with me anymore. So I'm just going to. No, we also have to be involved. We cannot not be involved. My kids are small. What world am I leaving for them? Because right now, it's going to be civil war. It's going to be freaking breadlines. It's going to be a shit show. So I'm sorry. The cat's trying to come in. Yeah, leading by example does work. It changes hearts more than being douchebags. Yeah, right? Because I could be mean. Sometimes I actually kind of like to be a little bit mean because I get old, but flip some tables and get out of the way. But anyway, I apologize for my. Ooh, I like this one. Yes. Yes, we can't just continue to be docile. And I think that that's something that we need to come back around to. We got scared for a long time. You don't want to be a Christian. You don't want people to think badly of you. You want to. We can't be like that anymore. We have to talk about what's going on, and we have to stand up for ourselves, and we have to. You know, you might not have kids, but you may have nieces, nephews, you may have grandkids that it's going to affect. You may have neighbors that you love. Whatever it is, we have to. I mean, I'm 40 now, right? So even if things go to hell in a handbasket, how many years do I have to live in it? My oldest is 11. How many years do they have to live in it, right? Like, it's a whole thing. So anyway. Yeah, our Lord and Savior was a table flipper, after all, when the situation called for it. Yeah, and Adam says he was a Jewish badass. So, right.
I think a lot of times, too, that people, like, when they catastrophize something, that is feel like, no, this is going to happen, and it's going to be all over. It's going to be the end. It's going to be the apocalypse. And it's like, as I've said before, it's like, oh, no, think of it differently. We may live through the whole thing, and it's going to be miserable. Ever think that one? The whole time. Yeah. The whole time.
Yeah. No, I have a very good friend, and one of her friends is constantly talking about, oh, well, so-and-so said Jesus is coming back on September 4th or whatever. And I'm like, does she not realize that the Bible says nobody knows the date or time? So anytime somebody says a date to me, I'm like, well, I know it's not then. Thank you for telling me. Like, we have to get through hard things. It might get bad. Anna and I might be jailed after this election. It's hard to say. I hope not. That would suck.
But
I mean,
yeah, and it's like, for example, we have these Eastern European countries like Romania and Czechoslovakia and different countries like that, which had communism, Poland, and it was miserable and it sucked and a lot of people died and a lot of people starved and now are not communist. So it's also it's like, okay, how about thing one, let's not do that. That would be the best. Let's do that. Let's work to not do that. I want Trump to get in, and I want the Space National Guard, and I want everything else. He said he'd do that. It was amazing. And I do want, to get rid of the FDA and the different and the.
I want to get rid of them all.
Oh yeah.
I think we need to strip our government down to the bare bones and start over.
Exactly. I do want all of these lovely things to happen, but also it's the idea of, okay, if Kamala by hook or by crook gets in, and it's going to be miserable the whole time, but also I'm going to be there and you're going to be there. Okay. So it's, let's absolutely not allow that to happen, but also the sun is going to rise still, and we still have, there's not a finality in that. Okay. We still have to push forward for the best outcome, even in that.
Yep.
But, and anyways, and sometimes it's miserable and it's awful for years. And then there's an anti-communist revolution. And
I mean, I don't know.
Let's change
the hearts. I hope enough people are waking up.
Now, and especially with the free speech issues, let's talk out about these things. And even so, because that was another thing that we talked about on Tuesday, with the different free speech issues in England right now, which sucks. That's miserable. I don't want to undercut that at all. But how do you change people's minds on issues? How do you put out the truth? It's like, well, sometimes you're going to have to speak out even if you get nailed for it, because it is important, and truth comes out eventually every single time.
Yeah. So. And I don't mean to be like so. I am passionate. And I think that for a while I was quite apathetic. I'm sure you all remember several months ago where I wasn't really into much of any of this. And I don't know, the more I read and the more I learn, the more terrifying it is. I mean, the founder of Telegram was arrested in France. Who had that on their bingo card? If he got arrested, that's not the place I would have picked to arrest him. There's other countries that I think are scarier. And so the assassination, there's so many things that have just like, oh my God, my eyes, like I can't unsee these things now.
Right. And also from a standpoint of censorship, okay, I have the Telegram app on my phone because that is where our group chat was, because that's where, back when unsafe space was a thing and Carrie Smith, there was a knitting chat going down the line, which is why all of that. But I can't access Tommy Robinson on my Telegram app. It says it's not allowed on your device on Apple. Yeah.
What?
But I can from my laptop, and I can on Twitter. That anything Tommy Robinson posts is A-okay on Twitter. So, and this was before arrests. This is like a couple weeks ago, at least, probably months, that I would haven't been able to access Tommy Robinson on my phone. But yeah, so there is censorship issues. And again, more free speech, more people out in the open, more people actually talk about these things, is how we do it. Because, okay, when it's like a fight, an argument, even between friends, okay, if you don't talk about it, you don't talk about it, you don't talk about it, that is just fights building up every single day. An issue swells up, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger before it explodes. Okay, the more we can talk, the more you can talk with people who disagree, the more that diffuses the explosion. Let's just keep in the world of angry words, hopefully good discussions too, and maybe a little memeing and a little insulting back and forth, but listen to what each other have to say and listen to our different solutions to problems before it becomes a big, huge thing. That is the ideal.
Yeah. And I mean, I have referenced the article that I've written and blocked a couple of times. I don't know. I thought I did a pretty good job. But one of the things I said in it, because part of it is a call to have more crafters exhibit in the Co-Crafting Democracy exhibit that's happening in November. And what I said in it is that Anne and Neil and Amy and all of our friends, we're all happy to kind of lead the charge. But when we turn around and look behind us, we want you guys to be right there. Like, you guys can all listen and talk, and I don't know, maybe you look at us and think, wow, they're super outgoing and they're super, dude, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, I wouldn't say shit if I had a mouthful of it. Sometimes you have to get over the fear and just do what you believe is right. So, I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry. Somebody said it's good to be passionate, and I know, but I want to speak calmly, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to just, when I had my kids and Obama was starting all the wars and stuff, I couldn't imagine my kids growing up in this world. And then it got better when Trump was in office, and now we're back in the same spot, and I am so sad. I am so sad that our country is so corrupt that we're having conversations about all of the things. So, You got to do it, even if it's scary. See, I'm all emotional. I don't mean to be. I blame the cat. It's her fault.
Lynn says, but DK, they might cancel you, whoever they are.
I don't care if they cancel me, because at least I know that I went out speaking what I believed. Is it better to be able to stay on all of these stupid sites and fly under the radar, or is it better to go out with a freaking bang and know that you were telling the truth? I don't know. Yeah, Cinco Farm says her son turned 16 and she's terrified of what's going to happen if she gets in. Yeah.
Anyways, reaching almost an hour.
Most of it my emotional outbursts. I apologize, friends.
Oh, you're
well, thanks for listening. I guess it's been building up.
Mm-hmm. Explode.
So, what else do we have besides our awesome knit-along and the world is exploding?
Yeah, but you know what? Knit for babies.
Yeah, when things get hard, you can knit for babies. They're fabulous.
I know, it's a new person every time. Fantastic. More of them, please.
Oh, Maddie. See, this is why Ann and I do it, because, and I know after Ravelry, everybody felt so alone, because it was on purpose. You know, you cut everybody off from where they're used to being, and yeah, what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And Ann and I are happy to lead the charge, but it's coming time where we can't be the only ones. And I know I keep talking about the exhibit, and the exhibit is a small thing, but when I go to an exhibit, and out of 30 pieces or 25 pieces, mine is the only conservative, and there are 3 that are neutral, that shows me that we are not participating enough. And it's how the knitting world is kind of a microcosm of bigger issues, right? Like, you can look at the knitting world and see what's going on, and it represents the bigger picture. And so that shows me that we need more participation. We need more people who are willing to speak out, because there's a reason that they think that we're the silent majority, because we don't do it. So anyway, knit for the babies. I'm going to stop ranting. I apologize. So, Marvin Gaye said, "Save the babies." I missed that one.
He also said, Adam also says he's the bane of HR's existence. I believe you.
At first, I was trying to figure out what politician HR was, and then I realized he was probably talking about work. My brain was so on that other track for a minute.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, you can speak up in a way that isn't rude. You can speak up in a way that isn't going to, I mean, people may hate you, right? But if you do it with empathy, I mean, that, I don't want to sound like a lib, but on the other hand, I think that we can speak up, and we can listen to people. And I've used the example before of somebody was on my Instagram talking about how much they didn't like Christians. And I said, it sounds like you had a bad experience with a Christian church. And I'm sorry, not all churches are like that. And then it came out that, yeah, they had all through their high school, teenage years, they had a lot of trouble and gotten, no support. And you can speak up and say what you believe without being rude. I mean, there are some people you're not going to get through to, and the fighting isn't always necessary, but sometimes you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and also when you're talking to somebody, there is a temptation to kind of automatically dismiss what they're saying. It's like, oh, I'm voting for Kamala. And it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. Who would do such a stupid thing? It's like, hang on, let's walk this through.
Yep.
You got to talk it through. Sometimes you have to, it's like, okay, define some terms. What do you mean by this statement? What do you mean by that statement? You know, you have.
That's why my question was, what is, to my friend, what policy of hers do you like? I'm no longer going to take she's a woman or she's not Trump. Those are not, for 2 years, we couldn't describe what a woman was. So that does not fly with me. That is not an answer because you couldn't tell me what a woman was before she ran.
Right.
And she's not, Trump is not a policy position. I need to know what she has done that makes you think that she's a good choice. And but you can do that without being an asshole. So, what's wrong?
My tummy just.
Okay.
Can I have granola to try it?
I'll be out in a minute, okay? Okay. We're going to have to wrap up. One of my kids has a tummy ache. So.
It is. Sorry, don't mean to dismiss. But we are at an hour mark.
Yep. So. Yeah. We have more to say. Apparently I have all the things to say, so we'll work on that. But this is my call to action, right? Speak up. You can do it without being rude. You can do it without fighting, but speak up. And if you're ashamed to be an out and out conservative, maybe try to find out why, because they're not ashamed to tell you that they're a dog. So why are we afraid to say that we believe that men are men and women are women and that Kamala hasn't done anything good for the country? You know, I'm not saying anything against people. I'm just saying, like, let's think about it.
Right.
Here. It's better to suffer for doing good if that should be God's will than for doing evil. So there you go. Knit for some babies. We're going to have more information. You can use the hashtag PIKLTL24 to donate to that. You can check out our sponsor, Chicken Lady. She's fabulous and we adore her. And yeah. Sorry I hijacked the show, Ann. I didn't mean to.
You're all good. Promo code for Chicken Lady is eBluebird20PIK for the month of September because we're there already.
Yeah, go figure.
Comment once the video is finished for a chance to win some beautiful yarn. And
yeah.
Oh, thanks, Shauna. She says, don't forget to hit the like button.
Yep. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for standing with us. And we can't afford to be quiet, unfortunately. Like, even more than the last election. It just really, yeah. So thanks for joining us and listening to me rant. You guys are the best. We will see you next weekend. Okay?
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.